Hello guys, and this is what I call a real special military operation. The Ukrainian armed forces have not just attacked Russia or crossed the Russian border in Kursk region. They continue moving 15 kilometers inside the Federation, taking control over approximately 11 Russian settlements. And no, these are not my optimistic assumptions. This is the comments of Russian media and bloggers. Yesterday they wanted to pretend this is a sabotage, but today they confirm thousands of Ukrainian soldiers capture Russian soldiers on the Russian side. We are moving with tanks, armored vehicles, drones, and the support of really good air defense. And yes, we have destroyed an expensive Russian helicopter with an inexpensive Ukrainian drone, perhaps for the first time in the modern war history. There is a question why the Ukrainian armed forces are doing this and what the Ukrainian armed forces are planning to achieve in the Kursk region. I read a lot. It was really pleasant, and I'm happy to answer these questions. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and I'm very proud of my country and our armed forces. Subscribe to see more of the Russian regions liberated by the Ukrainian armed forces. Indeed, this is what I call a special military operation because no one in Ukraine expected something similar is coming. The very operation was organized in extreme secrecy, and I think this is one of the reasons of this success. Because let's be honest, there are lots of spies everywhere and lots of people who are ready to back up Russia. Putin does not know what to say and how to react. His only words were, "This is a provocation." Well, this is not a provocation, this is war. You wanted war and now it is on your territory. This is extremely just because this happens after 2.5 years of constant Russian shelling of Ukraine, and we definitely need to protect our border. The Ukrainian armed forces do not provide any official comments, and I think it is very smart because many of our allies may start saying, "Stop doing that, continue dying on your side." But why? That's totally not reasonable. Plus, the best way to defend Ukraine is actually to create a buffering zone in other bordering with Ukraine Russian regions. I'm sure now everyone in Russia understands that many of their regions have become a war zone, and all because they really wanted this war. So, since the very dawn of the 6th of August, it is very likely that the soldiers of the 22nd Ukrainian Brigade started moving in the direction of Kursk and especially Sudzha. Very likely we control this town that is quite important for Russian gas export. I will tell you more about that later. But right now we know that these are not hundreds, thousands of Ukrainian soldiers with tanks, armored vehicles, strikers, air defense, drones, and artillery. We were getting ready. Russia was not prepared for that. You know, they don't have enough air defense to protect their military objects, and they don't have enough people to protect their border. Many of the soldiers who were in Kursk, and I suppose in many other Russian regions, are not actually professional soldiers, and no one expected such an operation coming from Ukraine. That was a mistake. But right now, Ukrainian soldiers are not just taking settlements, but also taking Russian prisoners of war, which is important because we are doing that on the Russian side. Sudzha is the town that is close to the Ukrainian border, and according to the satellite images, and most importantly, there is a specific program which is known as FIRMS, and it works with NASA satellites, and it helps to analyze the fires that are happening on the ground. So according to the data from FIRMS, we can see there are lots of fires on the outskirts of Sudzha, which proves that active combat operations are taking place already there, 15-20 kilometers from the Ukrainian border. And even if you follow some Russian vloggers, their Telegram channels, you can clearly see their videos that demonstrate the destruction of Russian aviation. Yes, a huge helicopter hit by a tiny Ukrainian drone and it collapsed. Many things happening. And most importantly, Ukrainian armed forces very likely are taking control of Sudzha. Subscribe to see Russia defeated and share these videos because this makes Russian trolls so angry. Just read the comments. They don't have any explanation. They often say like, well, these are 15 kilometers. But guys, this northern direction of the Russian army spent months to get 10 kilometers of Ukraine in Kharkiv region, and we spent a day to get 15 kilometers in Kursk region. Let's be honest, let's be just. Sudzha is an important town because it is home to a gas measurement station that Russia needs for the transit and export of Russian gas to Europe. And taking control over it, we actually cause lots of troubles to the Russian export. I think this might be the plan. Russian media goes crazy. They don't know how to explain this total failure and they start developing various theories. What is happening and why are we doing this? And one of the insane versions is that Ukraine wants to take control over the Kursk nuclear power station. I don't think that's what we have on the mind, but they believe this will be an extremely important argument in negotiations. Well, they think like criminals that we will exchange Zaporizhia nuclear power plant for Kursk nuclear power plant, which is vital for Russian electricity system. Let me know what do you think about this idea. But the most obvious reason for Ukraine's Kursk offensive, just think how beautiful it sounds, is to first of all distract lots of Russian troops from Ukraine and move them back to Russia where they actually belong. And according to intelligence, we see that lots of Russian battalions are now moved from Bryansk, Belgorod regions to Kursk to back up those who failed the border, and not just border, but dozen of Russian settlements. This is North front, or I don't know how to properly describe that, but anyway, they are moving now troops out of Ukraine to Russia. Perfect. One task. The second task is, of course, to create a buffering zone, because right now Russian troops, Russian missile systems, Russian artillery, they are really close to Sumy, they are really close to Kharkiv, and why not create this buffering zone? Right, that's good, that helps save human lives, but somehow Russia thought it will be on the Ukrainian side, and we decided it's better to have it on the Russian side. And personally, for me, I think this is the most likely reason, that first of all, we want to extend Russian front lines, to take away their battalions out of Kharkiv, Donetsk regions and move them back to Russia where they actually belong, and of course to create this buffering zone to protect, for example, Sumy from constant Russian shelling. But this is also a very beautiful illustration to all those crazy politicians who were once bribed by Russia and sacredly believe that Russia is an extremely strong nation that cannot be defeated. And I'm looking at this pathetic comments of Russia supporters below my yesterday's video. I'm sure they will come today, and they are trying to explain everything goes according to the plan. And I may say, yes, everything goes according to the plan, but the plan is ours, the Ukrainian plan. There are millions of memes all over Ukrainian Facebook and Russian Telegram channels when they say that Ukraine will proclaim the Kursk People's Republic, just as they did with Luhansk and Donetsk. Then they say it's very likely they will conduct a referendum. We're not just like you. Honestly, I loved one question yesterday of a subscriber who said, what will you do with Kursk region? We won't take it. We don't need it. We don't want Russia. We will simply liberate them from missile systems, from air defense, from their soldiers, and let them live their own miserable Russian way. I'm sorry. But having read lots of articles, my favorite one in the BBC, and I will leave the link in the description of this video, so those people who still believe Russia is invincible can read by themselves. And I hope you trust BBC, because personally I do, but most of all I trust the Ukrainian armed forces. But to sum up this article, to sum up everything that we discuss here inside the country, I think there are a number of reasons why we do that. First of all, to prove the world that Russia is a bully, Russia is weak, and war is returning back to Russia where it belongs. This is a very important signal to those who still think that Russia is invincible, who want to push Ukraine to negotiate with criminals because they believe we cannot stop these criminals. We can. We can break their borders. We can take their settlements. We can take their soldiers and prisoners of war on their own Russian territory. Insane. Also, this is an important message to Russia, Russian soldiers, Russian people. Hello. They were misinformed, they were disinformed. For months, Russia was saying, we are winning, we're almost winning. And now they literally see Ukrainian tanks, Ukrainian drones on their own land. I think that's a very vivid way to debunk Russian myths. Also, it's extremely important to create this buffering zone to protect Ukrainian territories, Ukrainian cities, and most importantly, Ukrainian people from Russian artillery, from Russian shellings. And this is perhaps the most important task. And another totally different dimension is, of course, the creation of the political pressure on Russia. And even if we ever start to negotiate with them, we will have more arguments. Okay, maybe it is difficult to get some of the territories that Russia controls at the moment. I mean, Ukrainian territories where they built like 3 defensive systems and structures, so we can exchange for a Kursk region, because we don't want Kursk, we want Ukraine 1991. That's enough. And honestly, I did not expect something similar will happen these months. And I'm very proud for these people. I know these are very heroic soldiers. I know many of them are in great danger, but many of them are in great danger on the Ukrainian side. It's better to be in danger on the Russian side, shaking and dissolving Russian Federation. That is brave, that is cool, and that also demonstrates us Russia is a weak bully. And those of you who tell me we don't want escalation, oh, don't do that, stop that, guys, this is impossible to win the war fighting only on the Ukrainian side until what? Until all Ukrainians are over. Have a look at the First World War, have a look at the Second World War. They always return back to the motherland, to the country, to the empire, to the evil mind and group of people who gave birth to this. So that's in the Kremlin. And we are moving in that direction. And this is beautiful. I'm very proud to be Ukrainian. And I hope that you are proud that we stand together in this war. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, and Discord to see more of everyday Ukrainian life. Buy some t-shirts, caps, and sweatshirts to celebrate the liberation of some settlements in the Kursk region. The links are in the description of this video. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. And most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Please share these videos and subscribe if you're new. Slava Ukraini!